Oh, welcome to ThunderNerds. I'm Brian Hinton.
I'm Sarah Besloff.
And I'm Frederick Philip von Weiss, and thank you for consuming the ThunderNerds. Conversation with a lot of the people behind the technology that love what they do.
And do tech.
Good. And we're here at Devfest 2019. Where are we at, Brian?
We're in Orlando, Florida at...
All I can see is his butt. Hold on a minute.
It's okay. It's a nice butt.
At the, sorry, everyone listening. At the Oviedo Mall.
Good job.
Yes.
That's
Yeah. We're here with a lot of the presenter speakers here. Why don't we just go around the room? What's your name, sir?
Rody Davis. Full stack mobile developer with Flutter.
Excellent.
Yeah. This guy looks familiar.
Yeah. David Khourshid, also known as David K Piano.
That's right. And
João, Luiz from Brazil, and software developer from Modus Create.
excellent. Great. Thanks you all for joining us. I know we have a lot of people on here. We'll try to go around the room
We'll
here.
figure it out.
Yeah. So what exactly do you do? What's your role?
So I took over the mobile department at the company that I work at. We completely built a CRM with Flutter. And so,
sweet.
Yeah, it's a business to business application. So we have a ton of users out in California and all over around the world. So it's been pretty cool. Took a product that didn't exist at all because when I joined, they didn't even have a mobile app. And so they have a really old web application, but completely rebuilt it in Flutter. So yeah.
Are you going to make a Flutter web and...
Yes, actually already got it running like last week. So
sweet.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
David?
So I work with Microsoft on the CSE team, which stands for Consumer Software Engineering. They have so many acronyms. But basically, we create innovative solutions for companies using Azure and Azure services, such as just like the machine learning, pipeline stuff. There's so much that we do. Like I'm not even doing JavaScript right now. I'm doing Python.
Oh, wow,
really?
Yeah.
That must be quite a shift.
A little bit. Yeah, it's great because you write pseudocode and it works.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But you have to watch that white space.
Oh yeah.
You're going to bring some of that to the keyframers?
Well, no.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm working at front-end engineer from the Modus Create, but I'm work allocated to EDR. So there's a lot of banks that are using the Collateral 360, and I'm front-end for them.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. And everyone, I assume, has already spoken today, right? So why don't we go around and talk about all your
talks.
So
So-
talk about your talks.
Yeah, me and João actually did a duo talk on moving an Angular application to Flutter in the course of like 6 months. So we took a full-fledged.
Wow, 6 months? Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and the last version we did like in a month. But basically, we built a full-fledged. Are you guys familiar with like AMP technology and stuff like that? So we AMP Stories is a new format coming out that's getting supported by Google on Google Search right at the top, where you can create like Snapchat stories for the web, basically. And we built a full editor that you can do without coding. You can build all these stories. And then just share a link and then have a hosted AMP HTML website. So,
Oh, man, you're right in the middle of the hot drama.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But why that? Tell me. Like, what made you interested in doing that?
Right now, there's only one other editor, so the space is wide open for people to take on. So we found that not only could we make a splash with the, just being another editor on the market, but also being Flutter. We have a huge community. So being one of the first really big web applications built with Flutter in addition. So
I love that.
Yeah, and you can imagine like we are changing our view from web and how we consume the content for web. Like before we were using like the scroll, and now it's tappable.
Yep.
So you see the stories and it's tappable and not more scrolling. So this is the difference, and our editor makes it faster using AMP in the mobile applications.
Yeah, because you can create
That's
a
the
story
idea.
and share the link within a matter of like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they're
okay.
completely hosted and everything. So
For example, you can take a picture, put some text and share.
on the web, not,
On the web,
not bound to a
not
platform.
inside a platform.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of value there. Okay, so who would you say is the best example as like somebody that this will be a benefit for?
Yeah, so there's already people using this kind of technology like CNN and like, these Mashable, these huge marketing firms. Like they have people that have this content. We even created a CI SDK that can use it, where you can take a JSON schema and export AMP HTML too. So we built that as well. But this whole process is we're connecting the marketing people being able to create websites with AMP without having to go into coding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So are you all hosting?
Yeah, we use everything Google. Okay. We use Cloud Run for the SDK. We use Firebase hosting for the website. We have Google Cloud Storage to manage all the actual things. So yeah.
And we are part from the Google startups.
Yeah, we got funded. Yeah.
You're,
wow,
you're at the right.
Wow.
You're at the right
Nice.
conference.
Yeah.
David, what about your talk?
So my talk was on mind reading with adaptive and intelligent user interfaces, which is one of those BuzzFeedy, full of yeah. But basically, I was talking about adaptive user interfaces, and funny enough, even though I work at Microsoft, I ended up talking a lot about Google technology. They created something called guest.js, which was written by Sam Saccone, who works at Google, which predicts which page you're going to visit next and preloads it. So you have this really fast experience of you click the link and the page just shows it's like, wow, my internet got a lot faster. And it gives you that feeling. And they also created adaptive hooks for React, which allow you to basically check like, okay, this device is like an edge device. It's like one that might not have enough data, so we want to show them a limited view rather than a full view. But I went further and I was like, using model-driven development, so with state machines and state charts, we could easily create these adaptive user interfaces that just predicts anything the user does in the app in real time.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that could even translate to web. Like I work at an e-commerce place. I could see where you're browsing around the website, where might they go next? And
right. Instead of like having to do like, oh, I always do this step, this step, this step, this step. It's like it predicts like, yeah, you probably want that. So we're just going to make it streamlined for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Where? How's it working?
Magic.
Lots of machine learning, reinforcement learning, weighted graphs, everything goes into it. So
that's cool. So what kind of points do you want people to get away from your talk?
Well, the main point is just this whole idea of model-driven development, which is not something we talk about nowadays because startups are all about move fast and break things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have a problem, you throw code and a lot of money at it, and you're like, hopefully the problem will solve itself, right? And so model-driven development is taking a step back and saying, before you do anything, take pencil and paper, start drawing out your solution, your boxes and your arrows, and then once you have a very clear picture of what your solution is going to look like, then start coding. And so that has a lot of benefits, even if there's more upfront cost. And so that's the main idea I'm trying to promote.
Pencil, you're talking like Apple Pencil?
I mean, if you want to, now we work at Microsoft, we use this.
Oh, nice. Well done, sir.
Good guys.
What? So what about you two? What's one thing that you like summed up taken from your talk?
Definitely don't be afraid of Flutter Web. We were kind of one of the pioneers with building plugins and stuff for the web for Flutter. Angular Dart, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but that used to be that was a thing for a long time, and people are starting to transition to Flutter Web because you can use all existing Angular Dart plugins already with Flutter Web. And then in addition to mobile, you get to just have this awesome experience on the web. So you can build the branding exactly how you want it. So instead of like relying on HTML and CSS, you're just declaring your UI on the web, which is, and then, oh, I want a desktop application. Then you just export to a desktop. Like you don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. That saves so much time.
Now, what's the negative of Flutter? Because there's so many positives. I keep hearing positives. I mean, there has to be. What's the big negative? Is there a big negative?
If you're only using one platform, sometimes it's better to just do it on that platform. Like if you're only ever going to do Apple, then just do it with Swift UI or something like that. But if you're going to ever have another extension of your application, then
but to play devil's advocate, what if I put out a application that's just for Apple and it's super successful, and I go, oh, let me try that over here. I already have that code.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about Flutter is you can reuse your existing Swift and Kotlin, or Objective-C code, as well as connect your application. You can add a Flutter view without having to break your app. So you can do it adopted. Actually, I had a really successful iOS application. I built like the most popular pitch pipe in the world, and because of that, everybody was asking for an Android application. I rebuilt the same application in a matter of like 3 weeks that it took me 8 months to build on iOS, just with Flutter. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's just extremely fast to work with. Yeah.
And you took 6 months to build the Flutter. How long did it take to build your presentation? Like how much time did you spend developing that? 3 days? 3
3
days,
days.
really? All right.
That's usually how it works.
This morning, you know.
This morning, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We finished this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, just 3 days before.
Yeah.
And what about you? How long have you been developing your presentation?
My present, like actually today.
Yeah.
So it's actually built on many presentations that I've given, like just this year. I've been at way too many conferences this year. And so basically every single time I give a talk, my talk evolves and I'll add slides, change slides. But this one I basically did like yesterday.
Yesterday.
Nice.
But based on previous information.
Right.
essentially.
And actually that's how it goes with a lot of talks and a lot of speakers I talk to is that what takes them months is the research, looking up, developing the ideas. And then once they're like, all right, yes, now I have a very clear way of how I'm going to talk about this. And it's like, well, the conference is in 2 days. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it. It's funny, I've seen some things on Twitter where people be like, oh, I don't want to go see a conference where, you know, why do speakers talk about just doing it this morning? It's so rude to the conference attendees. And it's like, you're not really doing it this morning.
Yeah.
Like you've been thinking about this for months.
There's
It
no
takes
way.
all your education, your years of experience. So it's a lot more than that. It doesn't matter if it took you half an hour to put it into a PowerPoint.
Right.
It's or whatever it is. It still took you months of
Like,
really
do they want a
thinking about it.
Pixar movie or do they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, could you do that? Next conference, a Pixar movie? What with machine learning? It just built on its own.
Well, it's really about what, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not so much about what you're presenting, it's about what the attendee is going to learn, pick up, and take with them, and
Yeah, that's
all
true.
that value. If you put in a half hour, it doesn't matter. If I got something out of that was truly inspiring to me to go, oh, I want to learn Flutter, or, you know, there's the value.
It's a half hour more than they put into it.
Yeah.
All I
Right.
gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
sorry.
bird.
And we
It's
got-
been a long day.
And we got to think about these things aren't workshops. These are
Yeah.
presentations. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go there to learn a little bit about something that might inspire you to go, you know what, I'm going to go home and look this up. And
It's a movie trailer.
it's a movie trailer. Exactly. It gets you excited about it. You learn a little bit enough about, oh, you know what, I didn't think about it that way. I'm going to take that and bring that with me.
And how do you all? I'll let this go all around to all of you. Like, how do you pare it down so it's not like a 2-hour presentation?
It's really just like a snapshot of where you're at. Like, so, you know, when you go down, like I try to procrastinate as long as possible writing code, because when I do, I can build it extremely fast. But, you know, the longer I wait, the more I have time to formulate the ideas. So, you know, I may have not have been writing the presentation, but I've been thinking about things I want to say. So then it's just like a matter of, okay, how much time do I have? You know, just trying to shoot like maybe a slide a minute, and then just, you know, just try to shoot for your allotted time. So
That makes sense.
What about you, since you're in the same project?
Yeah.
So what I do is like you want to pare down your presentation to one core idea. For example, for me, it's how to develop these adaptive user interfaces using model-driven development. And so I'm like, all right, so there's
sounds so cool.
so there's like this precursory knowledge of what is model-driven development, what is adaptive user interfaces, and then literally everything else. Like when someone shows code on the screen, I don't expect anyone to read it. I'm just like, here's where you could find this. Here's more resources.
Yeah.
You know, it's just to get exposure. I always say that
Exactly.
going to conferences for a conference attendee is for 2 things. Number 1, for networking, of course, like that's one of the biggest values.
Yeah.
And number 2 is for learning what to learn. Not learning,
Yes.
learning
What to
you need
learn.
inspiration.
Yeah. So far this year, I think it's Kubernetes and Flutter
Yes. Yeah.
and machine learning. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of machine learning talks.
That's a lot of things for study about it.
Yeah. Well,
Kubernetes.
I guess speaking of that, what?
We're actually using Docker. We're one of like the Cloud Run.
Yeah.
We're actually able to use our existing like Flutter application for the business logic through a REST API. Like it's a whole like crazy thing. So instead of having a client and a server application, we're using the same application with different endpoints, which is so we can reuse all existing business logic, all of our models, but expose it in a different aspect. So there's like a lot of really cool things that we can use to save how much we're doing and being able to have, different endpoints. So
Love that.
The point is how you mount this puzzle.
yeah.
What talk really resonated with you here? That obviously not your own, but
It could be your own, man. I really learned a lot about what I said.
yeah, exactly.
You did good, David.
Yeah. I guess starting with you, what was one that you?
So
Yeah.
earlier today, I actually saw Lee Warwick's talk. It was a provocative talk, and he's actually a great speaker. I think this was his first conference he gave, but he talked about you don't deserve senior developers. And so it was sort of pointed at companies where it's like, we're all hiring for all these senior developers, but really the value comes from your junior developers. Plus in Central Florida, no one can afford senior developers anyway. So like, quit trying, just get some juniors. And where by hiring junior developers, you get all of this value, like they're able to tell you what are the pain points in your code base, and you're able to basically foster them into these senior developers that have very specific domain knowledge, which is more valuable than just any senior developer you pick off the street. So,
Well said. Yeah.
Okay, which one do you want to go next?
Go for it.
Yeah, so
We need more time.
I like the one we had right before us about pair-driven development, because
Oh yeah.
we actually, I've never heard of that before ever. Like I like probably like the only company that doesn't do
Don't
that.
judge him.
No, I wasn't trying to. I
Yeah,
just
everybody's
that sounded judgy.
like kind of your own island at our company. So yeah, the thought of maybe a junior and a senior dev getting together would sound awesome, but yeah, I never knew that was a thing. So
I love the Loyani ones. It's like about
Oh, yeah.
Firebase and Angular.
Angular, yeah.
Because I start learning Angular by the Loyani websites.
Oh,
So-
really? That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you tell her that?
Yes,
Yeah,
She's
mentioned
mentioned it.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
So today I met him in person. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's the first time. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Did you get one of those like certificates?
Not yet.
Okay.
I still not finished.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like you two built, like doing it together?
well, we actually met for the first time yesterday.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
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 It's
What?
so funny.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
he's in Brazil and I'm in Tampa. So yeah, we've been working remotely on this project this whole time.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Like 1 year.
That'd be like doing like a podcast, like a live
Mhm.
stream for like, I don't know how long, months and months and months, and then never meeting the person.
Yeah.
Until like just randomly meeting them in Texas.
Was
Yeah,
it really
awesome.
random? Neither one of you knew?
it was random because I was doing a React training workshop at the time, and there was
Yeah.
Artifacts Conf going on too. And that was actually the first conference that he's been to. So he's like, I'm in Austin. I'm like, I'm in Austin. So we just
That's so funny.
So a
That's
$30 Uber ride later, we just met. And
Yeah.
they snuck me into the conference, so it was great.
And then you got photobombed by Dave.
Dave Rupert. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, he was on our
our
show talking about it, and he's like, "I don't know if they want me to be back on that show. I'm not sure. Like, if that was
Like, really?
if that was my
Of course you would.
opportunity.
We do. We
They
absolutely
want
do.
to be on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, I actually found that kind of interesting because Dave, a lot of people in the industry probably look up to Dave and Chris a great deal. And yet for him to be like, I don't know if they would want me back. It kind of just shows that, everyone has the same feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
hmm So, what was your, if I could ask, go around the room, what was your favorite part about the conference today?
Well, this was actually the first conference I spoke at. So
Is it
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I'm actually moving out to Silicon Valley, so I hope to speak at a lot more. So yeah, it
he's
was
leaving
awesome
us.
to see everyone here. So,
Leaving us.
and meet the community
the
too.
valley.
So yeah, yeah,
As he
exactly.
leaves. See you later.
We'll
See ya.
We'll see you back in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll be back.
What, 8,000 for one bedroom apartment?
Yeah,
What?
it's like-
Yeah, it's expensive.
Where'd you find a deal like that?
Oh yeah, that's true.
What about you, Dave?
I love the friendliness of this conference, like just so many people to talk to, and because it's 3 different areas, you have this
Yeah.
startup, thing, which is like completely new. It's like
Yeah, I love that track.
in Orlando, what I really want to foster, because I'm part of the Orlando Devs, committee and
Yeah.
everything, and one of the things we want to foster is just bringing this whole entrepreneur business side and developer side together, because they seem very separate, and we want to just make them work together. And so that's what they're trying to do at this conference too, which is why we have the startup stage, the mobile stage, the web stage. So it's really interesting just seeing all of those different perspectives.
Well said.
Yeah. For me, my first international talk. So.
Oh,
first-
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
my first
Nice.
talk too. And
First talk, and it's international.
no, first talk at all.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So the first was international, and I met some great people that I was talking like 1 year, and I never met her in person.
Yeah.
So for me, the most.
That's so cool.
So
yeah,
what was the biggest surprise when you met each other? Like, so I've worked
I'm
remote.
taller than
I knew it. So I work remote and like everyone thinks I'm super tall. I don't know if I just like, I don't know why. Maybe I have the camera like down here and they're looking and they're like, you're so small. And I'm like, thank you.
It's you?
But yeah, I'm always shocked at like how tall people are because
Oh,
you just can't gauge that,
Yeah.
you know, working remote.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Everybody looks the same height because we're all.
Yeah, everyone's the same. It's just so different. It's so different.
Yep.
But it's cool when you get to meet someone that you've worked with for a long time.
Yeah,
It feels weird too. For me, like it always feels kind of weird. I feel like, should I hug you? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
like go ahead, bring it in.
No.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'd rather hug than shake hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause for like the past like 6 months, we've been talking 3 days a week for like the past, doing this project. So it was like really cool.
Yeah.
to
That's
finally
awesome.
meet
That you do that. Awesome.
Awesome. So what's the best way people could, well, we'll go around the room obviously, but what's the best way people could learn more about you and what you do?
I'm extremely active on GitHub, so you can follow me at Apple Educate, and I'm also on Twitter at Rody Davis. So
Excellent.
And App Store team.
yes, and the App Store.
Okay. David?
So I'm on Twitter, GitHub, everywhere as @DavidKPiano because I play the piano. I actually went to school for piano. But also, if you type in the word state machine literally anywhere, I will find you and I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And also
And-
keyframers.
Yes, keyframers too. Yes.
Keyframe.rs.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We do a weekly live stream about every Monday. You know, it varies, but we talk about creating imaginative user interfaces from life with HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript.
And soon Python.
Oh yeah, Python animations. Yeah, that's
And do you have another guest coming on soon?
we just had Adam Argyle from Google, so that was a really fun thing. But yeah, we do hope to have some more guests on the show too.
All right, awesome.
For me, it's João Luiz SK. SK. So it's Twitter and GitHub and App Store team.
Awesome, great. Yeah, and we'll have links to everything in the show notes. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching, and appreciate you spending some time with us at Devfest.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care, everybody.